Well, hello again. When I first entered the seminary, we began to pray together day after day, a prayer called the Liturgy of the Hours. Now, sometimes the Liturgy of the Hours is just a normal, ordinary day's worth of prayers. But on feast days, there are certain prayers that are supposed to remind us of or ask the intercession of certain saints. And I remember one day we got to this saint, and I looked at it, the name, and it was not a name I recognized. And I said, Aloysius, who's Aloysius? And somebody said, Aloysius Gonzaga. And I said, oh, that's who that is. And Aloysius Gonzaga had a short life, but it was an impressively holy life. He sounds like he was a wonderful young man. He was born in Florence in the late 1500s, Florence, Italy, that is. And he was born into a noble family. Now, as part of that nobility, there came along with it military service. His father was a soldier, and the plan was Aloysius, his oldest son, would also be a soldier someday too. And so from the time he was 4, his father would take him to military camps and have him be around the troops and learn things about the army and all the rest of the, what you might imagine. I remember reading that when he was 5, he was marching at the head of a column of troops, and he was a sort of mascot for the soldiers. He loved it, they loved him. The problem was, when he got home from camp, some of the soldiers' language had rubbed off on him, and apparently he was swearing a blue streak. Well, his mother took great exception to that and had a talk with him. And in this talk, she reminded him that, Aloysius, even small things can be upsetting, can be hurtful to God. You'll want to make sure you please Him with your speech and with whatever you do. And that little talk he had with his mother made an impact on him and changed his life. From a very young age, he decided that he was going to grow up and he was going to become a priest. And not just a priest, he realized that his lifelong dream was to be a missionary. So that's what he planned to do. Now, this was a problem because, as I mentioned, he was his father's oldest son. So he was supposed to be the next count and when his father died. And it was clear he wasn't going to be if he went into the priesthood, especially if he went into a religious order that would send him off to be a missionary. But that's what he wanted. And so he and his father argued about this for years. But finally his father understood. My son is strong in will, and so when the day came, Aloysius signed away his inheritance and he joined the Society of Jesus. That's the religious order our Pope was from. Anyway, he became a seminarian and studied in Rome, and he studied up in northern Italy too. But as time went on, there was a problem, and the problem was a plague. The plague came to Rome, and so as a 21-year-old, Aloysius went to work in a hospital, and he tended to the needs of those who were suffering from the plague, and he did that until he caught the plague himself. And so at the age of 23, on June 21st, 1591, Aloysius died. He was a young man who gave his life, gave away all his hopes and dreams, really, for the people who needed him. So he's a great example, I think, to each and every one of us. He was somebody who, after that speech from his mother, realized that he wanted to please God with everything he did. He wanted every breath he took, every word he spoke to be about the Lord. He wanted every second of every day to be about God and His service. He wanted everything he did to make a difference in the eyes of the Lord and to the people who he'd meet. And that's the way he lived his life. So as I said at the beginning, it was a short life. He died at the age of 23, but it was a holy life, and it reminds us that wherever we are and whatever we're doing, we need to make sure that our lives are pleasing to God. We need to make sure that we're doing our best to serve Him and serve our brothers and sisters, and we need to make sure that we understand that in each and every day we live, there are those moments in which we can make sacrifices great and small, that are going to make a difference. Aloysius Gonzaga made a difference in the lives he touched, but also in the example he gave us. Thank you for listening.